Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. We continue to foray into the best in pro wrestling. So, 2750 of these will be up after this one. Needless to say, we cut to the June 1st, 2022 edition of the show. Cult of Personality opens the show, and Anthony Bowens hypes for his team. He hypes the live crowd as CM Punk, the new AEW champion, finally a guy who knows what he's doing. And FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler defeats Max Caster and the Gun Club. Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn with Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens. Dax and Austin start off, tag off to his FTR partner, and then Colton tags in, is taken down by Cash. Caster and Punk tag in, and then there's an isolate on Caster as Cash comes up with a second power slam for a near fall. Gun Club uses 2-on-1 attack on Dax to regain control of the match, and ultimately Dax makes his way over, makes a one-man comeback, and everybody and his partners are pulled off the apron before they could make a tag. During the commercial break, promo from Bowens about Pride Month. Why we do that during the commercial break, who knows? Punk lands top rope elbow drop and calls for the GTF, but Billy hopped up on the apron, distracting him. Austin rolls Punk up for 2 count, but Punk power bombs Austin into Billy. GTS and then a big rig from FDR gives Punk's team the win. After the match, Punk said he'd never done drugs in his life, but that he imagines this is what it feels like. He said that there's still lots to do and he needs to keep getting better. You can call him a lot of things, but you have to call him the champ. Dax said that professional wrestling means the world to him and his family, and they're in attendance. The only thing that means more is the ROH tag team titles and everything, and it doesn't matter if anyone from the company or any other company wants them. Punk turned attention to the Forbidden Door, demanding that whoever he's got for the show come on out. Tanahashi makes his way out from New Japan Pro Wrestling, makes his entrance, points to Punk, and then they threaten to square off. I still don't think the Forbidden Door thing is going to get over. I think it's going to be the lowest bought AEW pay-per-view of all time, and I think it's because they haven't given it enough time. Maybe if you'd given it a 3-4 month build, you could get people to care about the characters from New Japan. But you're isolating your mainstream audience with things they don't care. Anyway, so MJF comes out and said he's in a lot of pain after Sunday. He said he's here to talk, but Max Friedman, he teased embarrassing Tony Khan and AEW in front of the Warner Media people. AEW started its All Friends Wrestling. Everyone was invited. MJF, even though everything he touched turned to gold, he says nobody's capable of carrying the company like him. He says the fans are fickle. He says the boys in the back are part of the problem too. MJF calls the fans uneducated marks and said you don't know, well, anything. He then said the only safe wrestler who doesn't make sense because wrestling is fake. He's the best. He challenged himself. The top minute-to-minute draw, and he uses his pocketbook to pay the guy who's been there since day one. He asked if he were an ex-WWE guy, whether the big payday he demanded that Tony Khan fire him and cussed loudly, and then they go to black, they cut the commercials if it's unscripted. I don't know. I love the promo. I think MJF is the best pro wrestler in the world today, but I also think that they've set themselves up with an angle that doesn't really go anywhere. If you completely make the style that is your promotion the heel in the whole thing, then you've basically made things worse. Now, could you slow it down? Could you get rid of guys like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Could you have every match matter? Could you reduce to a smaller roster and make everything count? Yes. Could you retrain the audience over 2 years to do that? Yes. Does anyone here have the patience? Probably not. And I think that's where this doesn't pay off. Anyway, Johnny Elite offers a open challenge. Miro comes out, makes his return. Miro takes on Johnny, beats him down in the corner, and continues dominating through the break. Once Johnny avoids the pump kick and lands a high kick, he keeps on the offense. Hits a springboard kick. Johnny hits a Shining Wizard and climbs the ropes. Miro avoids the dive and then hits his signature kick and the game over, and there we go. Then, waste of time. First really bad segment of the night. Jericho Appreciation Society stuff. They recap the Anarchy in the Arena match. Live crowd gets a good reaction. Parker speaks first, saying they dominated the Anarchy in the Arena, demanded that the crowd appreciate them. Jericho said winning the match wasn't without a price. Going through and listing all the trials and tribulations throughout the match, he questions Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson's humanity for their actions. He then said sports entertainers always win against pro wrestlers. And Eddie Kingston interrupts. William Regal behind him. None of his friends are there, but he's fine with fighting them all right here. He offered Regal a chance to stay where he was and fight them, and Regal obliged. Blood and guts is where we're going. Kingston runs down to the ring, but immediately beaten down. And the Jericho Appreciation Society Ortiz approaches behind Jericho and beats him down with a sack before cutting off some of Jericho's hair. Jericho is livid about the hair and accepted Kingston's challenge for a blood and guts match on one condition: Jericho and Ortiz, hair versus hair. Jericho is going to beat Ortiz, shave Ortiz's head, and burn him because he's a wizard. This is just a complete waste of time. Double or Nothing Samoa Joe's interviewed backstage, but Jay Lethal, Sunday Dutt, and Satnam Singh showed up and wrapped a chair around his already injured shoulder before sending him into the steel steps. Adam Cole joins on commentary as the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, O'Reilly, and Fish, and Hikuleo, with Brandon Cutler defeat Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, Darby Allin, and Matt Hardy. All-action match with no psychology. If you like that sort of thing, you'll love this. If you actually expect wrestling to make sense, you'll see this as what it is, a spot fest that could be done in your backyard. Jungle Boy and O'Reilly start off. Fish and Christian tagged in. Everyone in the match, for a brief moment, tags to start the contest. Jungle Boy takes Fish down to the floor, hits a Rana, and Christian lands top rope headbutt for 2 count. Match breaks down into a brawl. Darby Allin hits an insane dive, and Luchasaurus lands a moonsault to the outside. Nick dives on everyone ahead of the commercial break. Undisputed Era beats down Christian through the commercial. Double reverse DDT allows him to reach Luchasaurus. Hot tag. Dinosaur runs wild. Hikuleo comes in first time for a face-off with Luchasaurus. Clotheslines on each other, leading Darby and O'Reilly, targeting, and comes in. He then gives a continuous splashes for both O'Reilly and Fish before hitting the float over stunner. Darby goes for the coffin drop on Hikuleo to the outside, but the big man catches him, and Red Dragon hits the assisted brainbuster on the floor. Hardy tags in and drives in everyone's faces into the turnbuckles. He then hits a twist of fate on Hikuleo. Then Christian takes out both men with a running spear, getting a parade of big moves, finishing off with a super kick party from the Bucks. Red Dragon hits the parade of big moves, and there we go. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee are backstage. Swerve has an entourage of people with him saying that he's on the mogul stuff right now, and Lee said the gold would be theirs soon. That would be cool. Athena speaks. Shivani welcomes her to AEW. Athena talks about confronting Jade Cargill, even though Jade's undefeated. All streaks are meant to be broken, and she plans on breaking that. Hathaway says it was his shame that Athena interrupted them at Double or Nothing. She said Jade is a queen and goddess as well as TBS champion. Jade said Title shot wasn't happening here. Hogan stepped up, exchanged words with Athena and Anna Jay, and Chris Statlander stepped in from the back up of Hathaway and all of that. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a better way to use Stokely Hathaway, but it is what it is. Wardlow comes out with no security detail per the stipulation from the Double or Nothing. He also gets a remixed theme. Wardlow defeats J.D. Drake. Wardlow levels Drake with a lariat before planting him with a slam. Powerbomb Symphony. Only 2 this week, followed by a squash win. After the match, Shivani is about to interview Wardlow, but Smart Mark Sterling comes out, flanked by security. He serves Wardlow with a class action lawsuit on behalf of the security workers. Wardlow powerbombs one anyway. Dan Lambert and America Top Team backstage. They said Dante Martin has potential, but it won't be enough for him to win the TNT Championship. Dante would walked up and challenged anyway. Then we go to Ruby Soho. Toni Storm defeats Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Storm and Baker started off. Storm is cleaning house. We go to break after a neckbreaker on the floor. Ahead of the commercial by Baker. Soho hits back suplex. Reaches Storm for the hot tag. Goes nuts. And Hayter counters a tornado DDT with the DDT of her own. Back inside the ring, Storm takes out Baker with a German suplex, but Hayter smashes Soho with a backbreaker. Baker then hits a butterfly suplex on Soho, but then rolls up for the 2 count and gets an attempted near fall. Baker hits a swinging neck breaker on Soho. Miscommunication between Hayter and Baker led to Soho hitting Destruction Unknown for the win. And ultimately, Battle of the Belts announced for August 5th. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Rampage on 6-3. Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers. Yuck. Athena's debut. Yay. Scorpio Sky, Dante Martin. Yuck. So basically, a High Flyers uselessness. 6-8 lineup for Dynamite. Hangman Page against David Finlay. That could be very good. Jericho and Regal joined on commentary for the main event. Jon Moxley against Daniel Garcia. Basically, Moxley has the upper hand early, beats Garcia down. Garcia tries to fire back with strikes. Moxley has the power advantage and a bit of speed, goes to paradigm shift, but Garcia drives him out of the ring, sends him into the steel steps, and kicks Moxley's leg. Moxley ends up bleeding. After commercial, Garcia hits an avalanche back suplex for near fall. Moxley counters and sharpshooter attempt and hits an X-Plex on Garcia. Into the steel steps, back in the ring, Moxley hits top rope butterfly suplex for near fall. He lands a bunch of elbows. Garcia applies a rear naked choke. Moxley rolls through it. Garcia then wrestles out and forces Moxley to the ropes for the submission. Moxley then fights out of the sharpshooter attempt and trades strikes on the outside. Garcia hopped on Moxley's back and then falls backwards into the timekeeper's table. Jericho runs down to the ring to distract Moxley, but Moxley hits the paradigm shift and applies the bulldog choke for the win. And Eddie Kingston runs out to take care of Jericho. After the match, Moxley said he wanted blood and guts. Jericho versus Ortiz is announced for Road Rager in 2 weeks, and blood and guts is confirmed for 4 weeks on June 29th. The show does have a 5-minute overrun. We'll be back with more right after this.